In a parallel universe, there was a world where everything was turned upside down. The great empires of old were run by a group called the Blacks, who sailed across the endless sea, seeking new lands to conquer. They came across a beautiful land filled with rich resources and vibrant people. The Blacks called this new place New Dawn, believing they had discovered it for the first time. However, the native inhabitants were already living there. They were a peaceful people who had a deep connection to the land. Once the Blacks arrived, they forced the natives to leave their homes and claim the land as their own. The Blacks kidnapped many Europeans from their shores, bringing them back to New Dawn on ships. Upon arriving, the Blacks stripped the Europeans of their identities. They renamed them White Sand Blank Grows, a term that meant them to be lesser beings under the authority of the Blacks. The new Blank Grows, whites were ordered to learn the Black language and abandon their culture. Stripped of their knowledge and rights, the whites were made to work for the Blacks, enduring harsh treatment and heavy burdens. Life was brutal for the Blank Grows or the whites in New Dawn. Families were torn apart, and the Blacks committed terrible acts against them. Pregnant Blanc Grows, whites would often face the most horrific punishments, adding to the deep scars of trauma that would last for generations. The Blacks had taken control and twisted the reality of life in New Dawn. With time, the once thriving land was filled with suffering. The natives who had lived there for ages saw their numbers dwindle as both the Blacks and Blank Grows fought for their ideology during a civil rights period. The proud heritage of the natives began to vanish, leaving behind only tales of what was once theirs. The trauma inflicted on the whites was deep-rooted, leading to confusion and resentment. They grew weary of their lives and began to demand answers for the injustices they faced. They wanted reparations for their pain, apologies for the horrors, and the truth behind their history. As stories of suffering and resilience echoed through the air, a flicker of hope began to rise. The Blank Grows whites and remaining natives realized they could come together against their oppressors, forging a new path toward healing. With curiosity in their hearts and a desire for unity, they started to uncover the lost stories of their past, believing that sharing their truth could ignite a powerful change in their world. Together, they dared to dream of a future where not the colors that divided them, but the shared experiences that could heal them.